Welcome back, students, to the next part from the chapter light. We have been discussing about the an important phenomena related to light, that is reflection of light, and in a previous video lesson I had discussed about deflection of light taking place from a plane mirror. Now we shall focus today on another type of mirrors that are known as the spherical mirrors. So this shall be more of an introductory kind of a lesson where we shall understand what are spherical mirrors, how do they differ from each other when it comes to formation of images, and we shall be discussing some important terms related to these spherical mirrors. So let's begin today's discussion with a very simple activity that you can conduct very easily in your house. Now all of you have seen the surface of a shining spoon. Now what you can do, you can try to view your face in its curved inner surface. If you place the spoon near your face, you will be able to see an erect image of your face, and the size of the image will be larger than the actual size of your face. Now, start moving the spoon slowly away from your face and continue observing the image of your face in it. The size of the image changes, and when distance of the spoon from the face becomes large, you observe that now an inverted image of the face is formed in the spoon. Finally, reverse the spoon and try to view your face in its curved outer surface. Even now, you will find an erect image of the face, but now the size of the image is smaller than the actual size of your face. Moreover, even on moving the spoon away from the face, the image remains erect. The difference in the characteristic of the image on the two surfaces of the shining spoon is due to the fact that the curved inner surface and the curved outer surface behave as two different types of mirrors. From this very simple activity, we conclude that the curved surface of a shining spoon is behaving like a curved mirror. So far, we have learned reflection of light from a plane mirror. However, if the reflecting surface of a mirror is a curved surface, then the mirror is called a curved mirror. The most commonly used type of curved mirror is the spherical mirror. A spherical mirror is the mirror whose reflecting surface is a part of a hollow sphere of glass. Now, right now on your screen, you can see the two types of spherical mirrors. So spherical mirrors can be of two types: concave mirror and convex mirror. Just observe the picture of the concave mirror. A spherical mirror whose reflecting surface is curved inwards is called a concave mirror. Alternatively, the reflecting surface of a concave mirror faces towards the center of the sphere of which the mirror is a part. So as you can see, figure A shows a concave mirror. Similarly, a spherical mirror whose reflecting surface is curved outwards is called a convex mirror, as you can see in figure B. So these are the two basic types of spherical mirrors. In case of a concave mirror, the reflecting surface is curved inwards. The outer side is the polished surface. It is given a coating of silver paint covered up with a protective layer of lead oxide. So In this case, the inner surface behaves as the reflecting surface, whereas in case of a convex mirror, the outer surface, that is the surface which is bulging outwards, that behaves as the reflecting surface. The inner side is polished, that is, it is covered with a protective paint. So this is the basic difference between the construction of a concave mirror and convex mirror. However, you will find that when you start studying about the nature of image formed by these two types of mirrors, you will find there is a huge difference in the type of images formed. A little bit of idea regarding this might have already been obtained when you observe your face in the surface of a spoon. So in this case, I may tell you that the inner surface, the curved inner surface of a spoon behaves like a concave mirror, while the outer surface, curved outer surface of the spoon behaves like a convex mirror. Now just observe this picture. With the help of this picture, we shall try to understand some important terms in respect of spherical mirrors. So it is very important that before we proceed to know about the image formed by spherical mirrors, we have to recognize and understand the meaning of a few terms which are commonly used in discussion about spherical mirrors. So observe this picture, you will be getting an idea regarding all the important terms. What are they? Pole, center of curvature, radius of curvature, principal axis, aperture, principal focus, and focal length. So these are the few terms that we shall be discussing regarding spherical mirrors. Let's begin with the first one. Pole. The center point of the reflecting surface of a spherical mirror is called pole, and as you can see in the picture, P stands for pole of the mirror, and it is lying in the middle on the surface of a mirror. Let's study about center of curvature, which is marked as C. Center of curvature. The center of curvature of a spherical mirror is the center of hollow sphere of which the given mirror is a part. So in this figure, the point C is the center of curvature of the given spherical mirror. From the figure, it is quite clear that in case of a concave mirror, the center of curvature lies in front of mirror. But for a convex mirror, the center of curvature lies behind the mirror. However, it should be clearly noted that center of curvature is not a part of the mirror and lies outside the reflecting surface of the mirror. Next, we shall focus on the third term, that is radius of curvature. You can easily locate it in the picture, radius of curvature. Radius of curvature is the radius of the sphere of which the reflecting surface of the mirror forms a part. So from the figure you can observe the radius of curvature. It is the distance of the center of curvature of a mirror from its pole. This is also one definition for radius of curvature. The distance of center of curvature of a mirror from its pole is called radius of curvature. Next we shall define principal axis. You can observe that the line joining pole P and center of curvature C of the mirror and extended on either side is called the principal axis of the mirror. So principal axis is the line joining pole and center of curvature of the mirror. Let's quickly get to the next term, that is aperture. Can you locate it in the diagram? Aperture. The diameter of a spherical mirror is called its aperture. So a diameter of spherical mirror is called its aperture. Now comes an important term, that is principal focus. Let's understand the definition first of all. It is a point on the principal axis where light rays traveling parallel to principal axis actually meet, that is for a concave mirror, or appear to meet, that is the case for a convex mirror. After reflection from the mirror. So principal focus of a spherical mirror is a point on its principal axis where light rays traveling parallel to principal axis actually meet, that is the in case of a concave mirror, or appear to meet in case of a convex mirror after reflection from the mirror. So if we go back to the diagram, there is a point on the principal axis in which the rays traveling parallel to the principal axis will converge to or either diverge, either appear to diverge. Let us try and understand this with the help of a diagram. Suppose first of all we consider a concave mirror. If this is the principal axis, we mark the pole. So rays traveling parallel to the principal axis after getting reflected from the mirror meet at one point, or rather converge at a point. That point is called the focus. Let us mark the mirror as M dash. So F is the focus. Similarly, for a convex surface, if we draw the principal axis, if suppose this is the pole, then rays traveling parallel to the principal axis after getting reflected appear to come from one point. That point is called the focus. So in this way, we can understand how the definition for focus, or rather principal focus, is a bit different in case of concave mirror and a convex mirror. Actually, the name for concave mirror is also a converging mirror, because as you can see that the rays traveling parallel to the principal axis after getting reflected from the concave mirror converge, that is, they meet at one point. They actually meet at one point. So that is why a concave mirror is also known as a converging mirror. While in case of convex mirror, what is happening? You can see that the rays traveling parallel to the principal axis after getting reflected from the mirror appear to spread out from a point, or we can say that they appear to diverge from a point. So that is the reason why a convex mirror is also called a diverging mirror. Now the distance between the pole P and the principal focus F is called the focal length. So we can define the next term, focal length, as the distance between the pole and principal focus. A plane passing through the principal focus and normal to the principal axis of a mirror is called its focal plane. Now we can write down a relation between radius of curvature and focal length of a spherical mirror. For a spherical mirror of small aperture, it is observed that the principal focus of the mirror lies exactly midway between its pole and center of curvature. It means that for a spherical mirror of small aperture, the radius of curvature is equal to twice its focal length, or we can write down F to be equal to R by 2. Like for example, if the radius of curvature of a mirror is suppose 40 centimeter, then focal length will be equal to R by 2, that is equal to 40 centimeter by 2, that will be equal to 20 centimeter. So these are the basic terms regarding a spherical mirror. We will end today's discussion at this point. In our next lesson, we will be studying about how image is formed by spherical mirrors. Thank you.